Hello everyone, it is I, Ryan, also known as the Lovebat, and I welcome you back to our lightning-filled introduction. We left off last time. We had a bit of weather on our hands here, and we're very encumbered, so we probably will need to go ahead and rest up here and kind of wait out the rain, as it were. And hope you all have been enjoying my Let's Play so far. This will be the first time that we'll have an opportunity to camp, and I guess we can't. Apparently we cannot camp and rest here. I kind of forgot that in certain areas you can't do that, such as settlements or places where you can rest with an inn. So apparently we're going to have to just deal with walking slow as molasses to start off this episode. So you'll see people doing the robot walk here. But yeah, this is... And apparently he's going to do that too. This Balkan fellow. He's going to walk very slowly and retreat out of here, telling us to save ourselves. I think the reason why we might be walking so slow might actually be because of the weather. The storm probably... Oh yeah, stormy weather slows down movement by half. Alright, so along with already moving really slow if you're exhausted and encumbered and all that, you're going to also move slower in really stormy weather, but hopefully this also affects our enemies. Like these bandits up here that are, I assume, probably hassling the person that we're supposed to meet here. So we're going to go ahead and do a little quick save action, because we are super tired and we could definitely lose combat. Looks like we can hear chatter of these bandits in the background. Looks like we have a shaky camera while it's storming as well, which usually doesn't happen in conversations. In the name of the Stag Lord, the lawful authority in the stolen lands, we demand this week's tax and some beer. And where is that pretty wife of yours, Oleg? She should serve us dinner. So apparently, I'm assuming this is Oleg right there. Oleg's trading post. The guy we're supposed to meet. Quiet down, dimwit. Oleg, we're just here for the Stag Lord's tax. Hand over the money and we'll be on our way. You want to drink some of my blood too? I'm sick of you. You're like locusts. You think you control everything around here just because you put up that painted rag of yours. You come here, squeeze us dry, and come Ah, you must be guests from Rostov. So he notices us walking behind him in this big bad storm. Apparently there's a fire burning there, which is totally unaffected. So, what the hell is going on here? Isn't it obvious? These thugs are robbing us honest settlers. They say they're taking some tax for their leader, the Stag Lord. But I didn't swear allegiance to any Stag Lords. I pay my taxes to Rostov. Rostov is so far away, Oleg, and the Stag Lord is so close. And as for you, get out of here before it's too late. This is our land. We own it, she says as she squints angrily at us. Our duty is to protect the trading post. Don't waste your breath on scum like this. Oh boy, well, we're not going to waste too much breath. We're just going to tell them that we're not interested in killing everyone and making a big bloodbath out of it, but I will not let you rob him. You can go on your way and leave us in peace. And she smiles coldly. Alright, we'll leave. But what makes you think we won't just return with greater numbers to take what we want? Ha 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 ha! Why would we leave when we've got easy pickings from Rostov before us? We'll rip out your guts and empty your pockets. Well, it's a bad choice of last words, my friend, because you're talking to someone who's well armored and has a big ass shield on her. I would say that's not easy pickings, but that's my opinion. So it looks like they're setting up for combat here. And I think that that Cressy person, or Cressel, yep, they went invisible. So let's see what we're going to go ahead and do about this. So you're fighting defensively. You can't rage because if you're fatigued or exhausted, you can't rage anyway. So you're just going to plink away with your bow that we gave you. We could cast Glitter Dust. Oh, and each round, okay, so yeah, visibly outlining invisible things for the duration of the spell. So we can go ahead and use this to see if we can try and reveal that person that went invisible. We can't get all three of these guys, but I guess it depends. Maybe they'll move into the area of the spell after I cast it. You know what, let's wait on that. We don't want to cast it and have people move out of the area of the spell. You are going to inspire us to help us try and hit things. Alright, now that everyone's moved up and is doing their thing, now we're going to cast Glitter Dust. Can we hit them without hitting Valerie? Yes, we can. Glitter Dust is a spell that can hit your allies, so you have to position it carefully. Much similar to making sure you don't fireball your party. There we go. Let's inspire everybody. And we have Glitter Dust going here, so I guess the invisible person was not revealed, so they might be in a different spot. I guess, Alyrra, you're going to switch back to your sword here because they're going to try and go past Valerie, tank an opportunity attack, and go after you. You want to move away.
It serves you right.
We don't care about opportunity attacks on Valerie because she has some super high AC. So we're going to have her try and get us around on this guy. We have the thunderous camera shaking action of the thunder. It looks like even Oleg was getting in on the action with his crossbow there.
When we stop.
And your companions will go ahead and say certain things with passive dialogue if they need to rest, to just kind of give you a reminder, hey, we're tired, we want to take a breather. Okay, so take all of that, and we'll see if we got any new gear that we can use. Let's see, we have a short sword, which will be an improvement over our dagger, and is a finesse weapon. Oh, there we go. Some things still aren't quite patched, and our strength is super low, so we're not going to be doing much damage at all. But once we're not fatigued anymore, and once we have another companion feat to the finesse wielding type feat, then we're going to be able to deal damage with our dexterity modifier instead of strength, which will be great. Okay, now let's see. We have studded leather. She has regular leather. She has a breastplate. Let's see, banded mail is the best that she can do, probably for a while, unless we find some more armor here at the trading post. So, you know, the Great Axe would be useful if we were a strength-based character, but Alyrra is the main person who would probably use that. She's already using her ginormous sword, which does a lot of damage and is a +1 weapon already. Yeah, I don't think we have any other gear that we can really wear. Alright, well, I guess we'll just have to sell off some of this stuff then. And down here you can also see that that little plus icon is indicative that we now have a level up. And if you click at this screen, then it'll take you right to the level up screen. So, leveling up. So you can pick any class that you basically meet the prerequisites. Barbarian, yes, there are certain alignment restrictions, and then there's also you can't be an atheist for some of these. So cleric, inquisitor, and paladin. Someone like Valerie here. Valerie is an atheist, at least in this setting, the version of an atheist. Obviously, the gods exist and have proven their existence to some degree, but it's more of, do you personally have belief in them, even though you know that they exist, or do you think that they're worthy? And so she doesn't. So that means you can't make her become a paladin or any of these other classes. Later on, Valerie can take stalwart defender because she's kind of custom built or primarily built for that kind of class. All the other ones aren't really a thing for her. So stalwart defender is something that you can later have her take levels in, which is quite nice for a tank. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do something that only she can do as an NPC, because she's the only, at least as far as my memory goes, the only real lawful character or NPC that you could get. So we're going to have her go ahead and take a level in Monk, because Monk gives you some goodies that only monks can get access to. And this also opens up some other class skills for her, like Perception. So if it's a class skill, if you go here to the ranks, check mark, where did that go? Where did it go? There we go. So it says if it's a class skill, you get a +3 to it. So if you're just a single class fighter, then not as many of these skills are considered class skills. So if you multi-class, you open up some more skills to becoming class skills to increase what they can do with them. So that's actually quite nice to have. And because she's a human, she gets one more skill point that she can use per level, so that's also quite nice. So this doesn't really matter too much as far as athletics, because she's wearing heavier armor, so I don't know if we're going to put points into that. Not much point, because the armor check penalty, at least for a good long time, is always going to make sure that her athletics is very, very low. But we will put some points into mobility, because if you have enough ranks in mobility, I think you might be able to right-click it here. Or it might be fighting defensively, but if you fight defensively and you have 3 ranks in mobility, then you gain a +1 bonus to your armor class. So we want to get Valerie some mobility here to aid her fighting defensively. We won't need persuasion because my character can do it, and so can Lindsay. So we can go ahead and pump a little bit into religion there. Have her be versed in the ways of religion if we don't have like a cleric in our party for that. Go figure that I guess an atheist might know more about religion than someone who's a religious class like a paladin. But, I mean, makes sense, I guess, if she has history with it. I guess perception is probably more important for now, but we'll have her take 1 rank in religion, and then next level we'll get her more mobility. And so you can see here that you get some special bonus feats you can take at a first level with monks. Monks get a bonus feat at first level, which can be chosen from certain feats. Crane style requires you to be a monk, and is very useful if you fight defensively, which is something that Valerie is going to be doing pretty much all the time. That's her job. So you have less of a penalty in your attack rolls when fighting defensively, and you get an extra bonus to your armor class when you fight defensively. So if you're a tank, then being a lawful alignment does have its benefits. So you take the crane style. You don't really plan on her using her fists at all. So this is mainly for the crane style and opening up some of these skills here, like perception, for example. So Valerie will have even higher AC when fighting defensively. If we can get her to around 30 AC, that would be pretty acceptable and not that uncommon or unusual in Pathfinder. If we can get her around to 30 AC, or higher, that will be quite great to make sure that even the big monsters can't hit her. Now, Alyrra is someone that you can take in a number of different directions. Barbarian is all well and good, but like I said, Barbarian tanking doesn't exactly work so well in this game. If you were a certain subclass in Barbarian, you could probably do a lot more with Barbarian, such as wearing heavier armor, which one sort of subclass gets, and then there's another subclass which gives you even more damage reduction, which might be viable. But playing Barbarian, not quite as viable, I found. Alyrra tends to still get her ass kicked even while she's raging. So we're going to go for something different. We're going to go for a two-handed fighter. So she'll still get to rage a little bit, but as a two-handed fighter, she will get some benefits when using a two-handed weapon like her big old bastard sword. So strong grip, situational bonus, but nice to have nonetheless. Many more feats that she'll get compared to fighter, so this will help her out for offense and defense, and also having more hit points, because you can potentially get feats to help you out with defense, but also offense. Overhand chop, you can add double your strength bonus on damage rolls, so that certainly helps out a lot because she's going to be using strength. And then more, offensive bonuses here. So two-handed fighter is sort of prime built for Alyrra because she tends to use two-handed weapons. And you get some very nice bonuses here that can really rip apart an opponent at later levels. And thankfully, she will be able to cap out, if we can reach the level cap, with the Devastating Blow. So at some point we can get that. We will miss out on Weapon Mastery, but well, as it goes, you can respec her into two-handed fighter, I guess. I don't know if you can, like there's a mod I have that can potentially respec your allies into different classes. But I think we'll just go with this. I don't think we'll need to respec anybody. It would be nice if you could, but I think that this will be fine. You can go Perception, you can be our nature person, and then I guess we can go for Athletics since you're easily the best at it, and maybe we can find you some armor that makes you a bit better at doing that while you're... I mean, we could take armor off her before an Athletics check, and we might have to do that sometimes, but hopefully we won't have to. And then we can take Weapon Focus Bastard Sword for her big oversized Bastard Sword, so she gets a +1 bonus to her attack rolls with it. We'll we'll still have her using the bow pretty often, but when she does use her Bastard Sword, we'll have her at least doing it better. But just to make sure she doesn't die constantly, we'll have her use her longbow, have her in front of our backliners, and then eventually when the enemies try and go past the Valerie, then we'll have just Alyrra switch to the sword. Now it's my turn. What levels do I want to take? Well, I could go ahead and take some fighter and go for an Aldori Defender and learn how to use a dueling sword with my super high dexterity, which is a good choice. But I think for now I will continue going Paladin until I get maybe 3rd level to make us immune to fear type stuff. Get a Mercy for my Lay on Hands, which is pretty helpful, and I get the bonus to my saving throws here. So what I'll probably do is go to 3rd level, then I'll probably go into a bit of Aldori Defender here to get some things going on with that. And then we'll see what happens, but yeah, Lay on Hands, Divine Grace, Mercy, being able to get the Aura of Courage for fear effects will be pretty solid. And since I don't have very many skill points to work with, we just kind of have to go with mobility and persuasion still. Okay. Now time for Lindsay. And we'll probably get her a couple of levels. We'll probably get her up to 3rd level, and then we can take her into also a tanking direction a little bit. She has some pretty decent stats for that with her dexterity, constitution. And there are some prestige classes that she can potentially get into. Dragon Disciple is possible. And maybe Duelist or Outdoory Sword Lord can also be possible there as well, with the fact that she gets lots of skill points. So we can possibly make her into an AC tank as well that uses her inspiration to buff up everybody and then tank in the front with us. So that's a possibility. So we get her into some mobility, some trickery. We need someone who can pick locks and stuff for now. Perception, just to make sure she can do that. What was the requirements for a Dory Sword Lord here again? Knowledge World. And then Dragon Disciple needs Knowledge Arcana. So I think we can probably meet the requirements for these. She has enough skill points to go around. So Persuasion, Knowledge World, Perception, Mobility, and Knowledge Arcana. Okay then, so I mean we'll get Trickery up a little bit for now since we need that more. We'll get Mobility, we need some Perception at some point. And then we'll get these Knowledge lore things up as well with future levels. And now we get a Bard talent, so we have to kind of figure out which direction do we want to go ahead and take her. Just one moment, gotta go ahead and blow my nose here real quick. Alright, and we are back. We'll get rid of that thing over there. So, anyway, we can get some of these abilities here. Weapon focus, probably what we want to go with. We could also go with any of these to up our skills a little bit. Combat trick. You get a bonus combat feat, so we can, even as a bard, we can get her combat skills up a little bit. So later on, skill focus can give you pretty high ranks in some skills. It's kind of nice. I think we'll just go with the weapon focus, however, and see what we can get her. I mean, we can just go with... Well, I guess if we took a level in Outdoory Defender first, we could go ahead and get her Dueling Sword weapon focus. Or we could take a combat trick now and take weapon focus later. I think... I mean, we could go for weapon finesse here. Nah. We're going to need it at some point anyway, so if we want to make her a frontliner, we'll need weapon finesse. It's kind of a requirement for a good deal of things, so I think we'll just do that. And then we get an extra known spell here. Let's see, remove fear could be nice, but I think that our Paladin is already going to be taking care of that. If we didn't have a Paladin, remove fear would be quite good, but since we have a Paladin who will have that anti-fear aura, we won't need that quite as much. I guess the good thing with remove fear, though, is that I think it would still stack with the aura. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to double check that. But maybe next level we can consider it. I mean, grease might be good. Reflex saves are something that some creatures aren't going to be very good at. It will affect allies, but you can position it right at the start of combat to not hit your allies. Or even pre-combat if you notice something, and then you can cast it. Hideous Laughter could be good as well, but they get a new saving throw each turn for this, so it's kind of similar to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons of Tasha's Hideous Laughter. This is like a similar spell. In tabletop it's probably better because real time with pause, combat goes by pretty quickly. So it's kind of hard to take advantage of those kinds of effects, but grease can knock them prone. So grease is probably better because it affects multiple creatures. Alright, and then well-versed, very situational bonus. I guess if we end up going against Sonic type effects, maybe at some point in the game it comes up. I don't think this is really essential, so this is more of just a ribbon ability. Alright, now that we're leveled up, let's go and get out of this dang storm here, I hope. And you can see even as the storm cleared up here that now our characters are still moving slowly because they are exhausted. Oh, we're going to stop. And then we'll just go ahead and give it a quick save here and then talk to this guy, Oleg. Take that, you scoundrels! Oleg shakes his fist. But now, he scratches his head and stares at the ground gloomily. The girl got away, a plague on her. She's certain to complain to the Stag Lord. They came here before to collect taxes, but this time they'll come to punish treason. Now what are we to do? He sighs heavily. If only I could send Saventa somewhere safe to... and show those rats what's what. I just need a quick drink of water there. There we go. He notices a fair-haired woman approach. Dove, why are you here? I told you to stay hidden. Svetlana, I don't know if I can pronounce that correctly. Svetlana. It's all over. I saw it. I just needed to be sure you were all right. The woman looks at her husband tenderly, if with a hint of sorrow. Oleg mumbles something as he looks away, embarrassed. My name is Svetlana. I'm sorry your arrival to our trading post turned out so unwelcoming. One moment, I need to just go and pause again. My nose is getting kind of stuffy here. Alright, now we are back in action here. I just had to clear up my nose a little bit there. Alright, so let's ask him, who was that person that was running out of here when we came in? That must have been Balkan. He sells potions. He lives out in the forest like a hermit, but he comes here every day. He knows every tree and bush in the area and how they can help you. The Stag Lord's gang wants him to work for them. And he lacks the courage to fight those bandits, but he won't just walk away from us. He has a good heart, even if he grumbles a lot, especially recently. Oh, I'll bet. Especially with the Stag Lord, I bet there's lots of grumbling to go around. So let's get to the point then. You say the bandits are going to attack again. Who are they and when will they arrive? Oleg waves his hand sullenly. Who are they? They're the Stag Lord's gang, that's who. These lands teem with bandits like bedbugs and a beggar's hut, and you just stirred them up. They have a camp not far from here. I expect they'll return in full force in half a day, maybe less. The Stag Lord won't take an insult like this lightly, and his henchmen are more like demons than men. Well then, as I'm sipping on my orange juice here to kind of calm my throat a little bit, as it kind of gets, my nose and my throat are kind of stuffed up right now, so I apologize. Tell me as much as you know. How many bandits are there? What do they want? What do they want? Those bloodsuckers think they own this land. They come, take what they want, and steal the better part of our money every month, or as a toll for their leader. They even broke our gate so we couldn't try to hide anything from them. No one knows exactly how many there are. Sometimes only 5 or 6 come. Sometimes it's a whole gang. I'd have shown them what for long ago, if not for Svetlana. Yeah, well, you have to protect the wife, and happy wife, happy life. So they claimed they were collecting taxes. Why? For the Stag Lord and his cronies, of course. That Stag Lord fancies himself king in these parts. He may have antlers for a crown, but all the troublemakers around here are happy to follow his orders as long as they're paid. So they charge an arm and a leg as taxes, and they call their executions punishment for treason. Even those who never swore allegiance in the first place to that damned Stag Lord. They're killed fast, if they're lucky. If not, and Oleg just looks over at Svetlana. Dove, why don't you go start supper while we finish our talk? I have no need to be protected from dark talk. I'm not some blind kitten, you know. I've seen what they do to people. Svetlana lowers her head. Most of the gang is made up of simple bandits, but there are a few monsters among the leadership, especially those close to the Stag Lord. Ox and Dovin from Nisrach come to mind. They like to make a show of their tortures and executions. My husband and I, we saw the bodies. Well, it's quite dark. They torture and execute people, and they force people to pay taxes to try and milk them dry. Definitely evil. Alrighty then. Well, we know what we're going to be doing. You have nothing to fear. I'll help you deal with the attack and drive them away for good. Well, I appreciate your good intentions. I may not have the best manners, but Oleg Levinton is the last name you'll hear accused of being ungrateful. If we manage to defend this post, I'll reward you proper. Oh. Well, kindness has its rewards. Kindness and being the honorable paladin that we are. We have to hide Svetlana. Please don't argue, Dove. Now, we also need to decide on a plan. Go ahead and look around. There may be some tools that can be used for the battle. There are some pretty solid traps around, some tar, and a box of alchemist's fire, looks like. So we can either try and set a trap with the alchemist's fire, or we can just take it for ourselves and we can use it now or use it later. Since we have our dear Valerie to go up front and tank as many of these ruffians as we need to, so I think we can just take it and figure out some use for it later. Here, take it. But should you start throwing it into bandits, please be careful. Don't set the post on fire, pretty please. Alright, well, just answer a few more questions here. Enough about the bandits. Tell me more about yourselves. And he shifts around uncomfortably. Surely there are more important things to discuss. Well, alright. We're just honest people who came here from Rostov, which is where we came from, incidentally. We fixed up the old fort to house travelers and give merchants a place to trade with the locals. We also deal with occasional huntsmen in the area. What does any of this matter, anyway? When those bandits come back, they'll either drain us dry or just kill us. Well, they're not going to kill you on my watch, or over my dead body, so let's ask if we can see his goods and sell off some of this stuff that we have. Don't know what good trading will serve if those bloodsuckers come back and take everything, but alright, have a look. And as you can see, our objective changed here a bit. Technically we're out of dialogue, I guess, but essentially we have to defend the trading post when the thugs come back. And so we're going to go ahead and offload as much of this stuff as we can. We'll keep the torches. Oh, no. We'll keep the torches because they can deal fire damage, and fire damage might be needed when we don't have spells and stuff to deal with certain enemies. No one can use that, so we'll just sell that. We don't have anyone that can use the great axe or the great sword. Heavy maces. Longbows, don't care about these. Longsword. Masterwork light mace might be something that we could use. Masterwork longsword. I don't think we have anybody that can use that. Sell the short bows, sell the short swords, sell that. Yeah, that's pretty heavy, so we'll just get rid of it. And we'll just have to sell off all this stuff. I don't think we're going to be wearing it. Sell off these rings. We're not going to be using Tartuccio's present, I don't believe. So we're just going to sell that. Sell off all this loot. Could keep the braces of armor if we want to have anyone wearing it, but I don't think that we will. Don't think we need Expeditious Retreat. I'm just going to get rid of this because I don't think we're ever going to use it. Unless we can use Inflict Light Wounds. Don't think we'll need this. And then occasionally there are some books in the game that you can read and look at, and it'll tell you where you acquired them as well for certain items. Most items will go ahead and tell you where you've acquired the item. So, I mean, they're interesting. I don't think any of the books have any mechanical effect. And you can split up items here. We'll keep 5 Cure Light Wounds potions, and we'll sell off the rest. But yeah, that gives us a good deal of money just for selling those off, so. And then we'll sell that, sell that, sell that. And we can sell off those pelts that we got earlier. Sell all these. These are generally fairly light, so it's better to keep those around than heavier loot to sell. And every little bit helps here, so we're just making sure that we don't accidentally sell off something that we don't mean to. Sell off that. Sell off another book, if you want to go ahead and pause the video and read it. First Edition Alyrra. And then we have rations and some cooking ingredients here. The cooking ingredients, thankfully they don't weigh too much, so we can keep those around without being weighed down by them. Rations, however, they cost quite a bit in terms of weight. Don't know if we want to keep these because we can forage for food when we rest. And of course, if we get more party members, then 4 rations is not going to be enough to feed all of them. So I think we're just going to go ahead and sell these rations for now because they there's a lot of weight involved with them. And Amiri, with her nature skill, can forage for food when we rest. Alright, now that we have 1600 gold, what can we buy that's useful for us? Now, the first major option is just to get full plate, and put that on our dear frontliner, Valerie. Which I think is what we're going to do. Go ahead and take that. We still have some money left over for some other things, should we want them. And now, Valerie can go ahead and equip full plate for 9 armor class, plus 1 dexterity, so when she's no longer fatigued, she'll get an AC boost, so her AC goes up by 2 compared to the banded male. Quite nice. It also weighs more, so she's more easily encumbered, but when she isn't fatigued, she shouldn't be encumbered from wearing full plate. Or at the very least, she'll go from heavily encumbered to medium encumbrance when she's no longer fatigued. Alright, now it's time to go ahead and save our game here real quick, and then we can go ahead and talk to Bakken real quick. A frail, disheveled old man wearing a stained and tattered robe gives you a gloomy look. I'm Bakken, local herbalist. What brings you here? Well, tell me about yourself, my man. Don't know you that well. What's there to tell? I'm an herbalist. Make potions and sell them. Gather herbs, roots, berries. Bakken sighs. I live in the forest, live off the land. Since leaving rest stop for these parts, I ended up a merchant here at Oleg's in Svetlana's post. They let me in out of kindness. They help me with things. They bring me water or firewood when it's cold, and the occasional barrel of honey. Yeah, they're good people. Well, I can tell they're good people, even if they kind of squabble a bit as a married couple, but, you know, even good people squabble from time to time, I imagine. We could use a bit of your help fighting the bandits, my friend. Oh, where's this coming from? You want an old man like me to fight? Here, take this potion. Consider that my help in your fight. And he gives us a potion of cure light wounds. Well, I mean, you know, we need you here to get rid of them for good. You can contribute to the fight, and they bother you quite a bit, just like the trading post itself, so why don't you join in the fight? Yes, we succeeded. Barely. The rolls aren't in my favor, but thankfully as we level up, we'll be very persuasive, I imagine. So Bakken scratches his head, then hums to himself and puffs his chest out. Well, all right! I'll show those troublemakers. I'll show them what's what. They'll learn better than to chase an old man around. Someone might even write up some verses about me. Maybe even heroic ones. Ah, and then Lindsay comes in as the bard and gives us a worried glance and looks to Bakken. Please be careful. Go ahead and help, but leave the heroics to us, please. You hear? Alright, we'll talk later. So we'll go ahead and then save the game here, because I'm pretty sure that when we ask him to, you know, take our positions against these bandits, then we'll immediately be thrust into combat, I'm pretty certain. Alright, let's get back to the possible attack, and then I'm prepared for the attack. Get in your positions and wait. Fear not! I'll stand between you and this scum. You're under my protection. Alyrra and Valerie, to the rescue! Dun, 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 dun. And then Amiri flexes her shoulders. Finally, a fight. I was bored with all that talking. I guess the only thing that excites Amiri is battle and a good feast. Well, these aren't the heroics I was hoping to write about, but I guess even the greatest heroes had to start somewhere. Indeed. I see you're not easily cowed. Or maybe he means to say coward. C-O-W-E-R-E-D. I beg you, be careful, and please don't let Oleg do anything too risky, Svetlana says. Alrighty. Svetlana, go hide inside, please. We're going to meet our guests. Okay, so they said they usually show up in about 5 or 6, and it looks like now they have 8. Yeah, I forgot that right-clicking will have them move, but that's okay. I can change their orders, so we have Hep's Bidden with a bow there. We've got Bakken, who will hopefully throw some potions at him as an alchemist or whatever he is. Maybe he'll throw some exploding potions at them. Oleg has his crossbow. And you can see here we have our crane style going. Create Affliction, don't really care about that, and nor do I care about Stunning Fist. Let's see, Miri. We'll start you off with your bow. Make it a bit easier. I'll let Valerie go in there and aggro everybody. That's what tends to happen. And I guess Demoralize we might have down here a little bit. Then we have some lay on hands there. Don't know if I want to do my glitter dust just yet. Grease, on the other hand, could be quite great. Let's see if we can catch a lot of these guys in our grease. Yeah, it'll let you know by circling them if the spell will affect them in the area. Yep, let's try that. We'll cast that first. We'll have everybody going after this guy first. Okay, so grease. Yeah, that's not going to hit anybody, so we'll have to reposition that a little bit. So let's see how many succeeded. 1 failed, 2 failed, and 3 succeeded. Well, that's not what we were hoping for, but you know, so it goes. Now we're going to go ahead and have her inspire everybody. And then after they start fighting defensively, you don't see the AC in their character screen until they start fighting defensively. And as you can see there, if you have 3 or more ranks in nobility, you get the extra dodge bonus to AC. So if you go to the character screen, now you can see their actual AC with fighting defensively active. So yeah, that is quite tanky. You need much higher AC in Pathfinder than you do in D&D generally. Okay, now let's go after this guy and target fire them down. Now that our tank has kind of aggroed a lot of these bandits, we're going to have a Miri go in there and charge after one of these guys. So yeah, we're making short work of these guys, and thankfully Grease is kind of making short work of these guys by knocking them prone constantly, which is quite nice. That's why I like the spell. Area of effect spells are always quite nice. You don't have a ranged weapon, so you're going to have to go around the Grease. And as you can see there, yeah, so we have to make reflex saving throws against those alchemist bombs or whatever. So unfortunately they do hit us, but they tend to deal more damage to them than they do to us. And Valerie has enough hit points to tank an effect like that, so we're still doing okay here. Alright, now Miri, we're going to have you stop raging, switch to your bow, so you don't have to walk into the grease. Have you go there, Miri, You go around the grease and don't get caught up in it. Miri, run away. See if they can get these guys to try and follow you, to try and shoot you down.
Bring it!
So yeah, grease is going to hurt Valerie here, but we're relying on their other people to try and hit them.
Tear them apart!
Yeah, so they kind of exploded there from the arrows.
Here.
Unfortunately, grease has a somewhat lengthy duration, so we're still going to have to deal with that as far as the area effect goes, but that does at least make it effective for casting pre-combat and drawing enemies into grease, so that's actually a pretty helpful spell. Alright, so let's see what kind of loot that we got from these guys. We got a Cloak of Resistance. Very nice. And a composite longbow, which will allow Amiri to add her strength to the damage. We might have already had one equipped, but yeah, I think we already had one equipped, but it doesn't really matter much now. I guess if we need Valerie to have a ranged weapon, we'll just give her a composite longbow as well, and she'll be able to add her strength to that damage. And I forgot to equip the Masterwork Light Mace, which is a finesse wielding weapon. But it does give us medium encumbrance, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, because it will affect my AC quite a bit. There we go. So yeah, those are limitations of low strength. You kind of have limits on how much gear that you can put on. Armor tends to weigh a good bit, so you need like those bracers of defense or armor to be able to help you out there. Later in the game, we might be able to equip something other than armor, or maybe some really awesome magical armor that doesn't weigh very much. And then you have a low strength, so you're not going to be wearing or wielding any composite longbows anytime soon. Guess we can... Well, yeah, it automatically equips it into the first slot instead of the second one for some reason. There we go. Alright, so who do we want to have the Cloak of Resistance on? I think Valerie is a good choice because for now she's the one that's up in the front lines the most and will be subject to many of those area of effect type spells, which are usually reflex saves. So having her with good reflex saves will help out. My saving throws for my character are already quite good because of the Paladin Divine Grace thing, and also just having pretty good stats for my saving throws. Class bonus +3 and then +3 from Divine Grace, which will go even higher. So yeah, definitely Divine Grace helps out quite a bit for your saving throws here, especially at level 2 compared to level 6 for Aura of Protection that would be in 5th edition D&D there. Oleg is breathing heavily, but he shakes his fist in the air menacingly. You rats got what you deserved. Now they'll know better than to treat honest people like cattle. And our Balkan here taught them a thing or two as well. Yay, Balkan! Now, my lady, head on up to the guest rooms on the 2nd floor. You deserve some rest after such a battle. I need to clean things up, and needs to pick up the trash, as it were, with these bandits. I mean, granted, as a paladin, you don't like to see people get mangled up like that and have their lives thrown away wastelessly and needlessly, but they had it coming. They had their chance when I offered them to go away and never come back before. And this is for your efforts. Now, don't offend me by trying to turn it down. Just take it, please. An honest fight deserves an honest reward. If that were a more common practice in this world, I think life would be so much better. Well, no argument from me there. You know, just We need more good people in the world, for sure. Now, what does Bonkin have to say after that fight?
Let us press on.
We sure showed them what's what. Indeed we did. So yeah, you can kind of search around to see if you can find any extra loot here. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cheesy searching around this property to just take stuff like this, but he did say that we needed a good reward from a well-earned sort of good fight. So I'm not going to feel bad about it because we're going to have some... I mean, we're going to be putting our lives on the line for some stuff here, so... I don't think he's going to mind us kind of taking some things to help us out a little bit. Run like the Dickens, I say. You gotta get over here and find out what we've got around here, right? So nothing's over there. But yeah, this is a nice little trading post here. He's got his protective walls. Kind of does remind me somewhat of the Friendly Arm Inn from Baldur's Gate. That's kind of a inn trading post and has sort of protection to kind of try and keep them safe. The old well has been renovated and cleaned, and it even has a new roof. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I found a couple of weapons in there. I'm not sure if I'll be using any of those. A heavy crossbow. Probably not going to be able to use that on our 8 strength characters as it's quite heavy for encumbrance, so... And then we'll talk more tomorrow, and he just needs to clean up the mess. So we can't trade anything with him again, but we can talk with him tomorrow. So it looks like we're finding some food around here. I don't seem to mind if I'm taking some things for myself here. I'm glad it's all over. Okay. Well, indeed, it has been a long day. We've traveled a lot. We were exhausted when we got here. We had to fight off bandits. Yeah, things are at least looking better. Now, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I think that is something that you have to lockpick. So I'll show you here that sometimes if you want to lockpick, if we don't succeed here, we don't get another chance, which is why you want to save.
It's just not my lucky day.
So it says Lindsay already failed to pick this lock, so you can't pick the lock again until you gain at least 1 level, and you up your skill, or you just gain a level, then you come back to try again, but it's unlikely that you're going to do that, especially when it's a random kind of location that you explore. There's a good chance that you're not going to be able to come back to it because of time restraints. So, yeah, it's a high DC, so it's reasonable that we didn't pick it. But that's kind of bullshit. It honestly shouldn't happen. You should get at least a few chances. Then maybe after a rest you can try it again. Some other kind of mechanic would have been way better for that.
I failed. I'm sorry.
Because, if you think about it, in tabletop, you'd either get another chance, or you could try and force the lock open. I don't know if you can in this game.
I've been taught if someone annoys you, you either pray or polish your armor. It is why my armor gleams as it does.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well... Because I don't think that there's an option to force open the lock. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if you can force attack this thing. Well. I don't know, maybe I need to go ahead and let me check my hotkeys here and see if I can force attack something to try and force it open. I don't believe that you can, but it's worth double checking here. I know that in Baldur's Gate you can. If you have a high enough strength, you can force open some containers that are locked. I mean, we can inspect it. We could cast a spell to try and open it, perhaps. Lots of action bars. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be able to force the lock open. So we're just going to have to do the save and reload here if we don't get it picked open.
Anything else?
Okay. So we have a couple things that we can sell here, and we got a Scroll of Bane. Interesting. So we'll go ahead and quick save it here in case we need to open another lock. More loot. A book. Interesting. It looks like it goes into some details about some creature types. Werewolves, people are probably familiar with those. Primals. I know that's maybe not self-explanatory, but Will-O-Wisp, some people might know what that is. I somewhat know about them from other fantasy games that I've played. They're kind of just like balls of electricity type things from what I understand, or at least something similar to that. At least that's what they look like. And it looks like we have some cool things here. I think that some of these items are DLC content, or they're in here from the Enhanced Edition. I can't quite remember. But I think that some of these things are in there as sort of small little thematic items that are meant to be added in early game for some magic item options without breaking the game. So that's quite nice. So Valerie is going to have quite high constitution here, so she will have all the hit points in the world. Compared to me, she has almost 10 hit points more, so that's quite a bit. And then this seems like something that Lindsay should wear. Sadly, one of her ring slots is taken up by this ring, which I think that she doesn't even need. It would be nice if we could just unequip it so she could get more rings, but apparently you can't, so sucks to be that. Alright, so morale bonus to saving throws. That will be probably our dear old Valerie here. She could use that. I wonder what Inspire Courage does. Is that like a morale bonus too? Let me double check abilities here. So yeah, it's it doesn't stack with Inspire Courage, I think. At least I don't think it does. But it does help her out against more saving throw types, so that's always good. And then this, +2 on perception and nature checks. That sounds like a Miri to me. Alrighty then. Well, I think that about does it for the gear. There's a Scroll of Bane that we got. We got a Scroll of Ray of Enfeeblement. Don't think we'll be using that, but we can always go ahead and sell it. And we got a book there. Probably should have saved before resting, but such is life. I don't think we need to worry about it for now, though. You wake up from a nasty dream that tortured you almost all night. In it you saw a wall of unnaturally thick fog that surrounded you, slowly moving closer and closer. A quick look out the window, and you find out that the fog was not a figment of your imagination, not a dream. And then, what happens?
Hear me. Please hear me. Can you hear me?
The half-transparent outline of a beautiful nymph appears before you. Even in this ghostly form, it's clear that she's exhausted. Her shoulders are slouched, and her blue eyes burn within her pale face. And then she speaks, and her voice is barely more than a whisper. She reaches towards you. I mean, yeah, she looks quite nice. I mean, if that's your thing. It seems that only you can see or hear the nymphs, so everyone else is asleep in here. Easy to tell which one is Lindsay, just from the fact that she's way shorter than everybody else. Okay, who are you?
Who
Guardian
am
of
I?
the Moon.
Just a tear shed by the land itself. The bitter sigh of nature. I am a nymph, the guardian of this area. A defeated guardian. Call me the guardian of the bloom, if you wish.
Okay then. A defeated guardian, I don't know, guardian of the forest maybe? She kind of looks like a... I don't know, she looks like she hails from a forest of some kind. Oh, I'm glad my adventure begins with a beautiful sight. I don't know if we'd say that. I mean, it's nice to see what she says, but I don't think that Alyrra would end up saying that. What do you want from me?
Aid, salvation. We have a common enemy, and long have I searched for someone who can defeat him. The one you call the Stag Lord. As a storm strikes ruthlessly with gusts and lightning, the Stag Lord wreaks havoc with the swords of his servants. And not just in the world of people. The land also suffers from the evil he brings. My forests and my flowers suffocate in this fog. Soon even I will vanish, as the last ray of light fades at dusk.
So apparently it seems we have a common enemy here that we want to take care of, the Stag Lord. So, apparently the land is suffering from the evil that he brings. And she is from a forest, as it turns out. So the fog seems to have something to do with the Stag Lord, then, that we've seen some reference to here. The Stag Lord is responsible for the fog?
Yes. It hides his fortress as well as his dark deeds. But while responsible, he did not create this affliction. It is the work of a powerful druid who has betrayed even himself. I know not why the powers did not leave this renegade, but even I was unable to defeat him.
So a guardian of the forest was not able to defeat... I guess maybe she's referring to the druid and not the Stag Lord, but she was unable to defeat the powerful druid, I imagine. If she was unable to defeat the Stag Lord, then I wouldn't imagine that our chances are... I would imagine that our chances wouldn't be very good against the Stag Lord if a Guardian of the Bloom couldn't deal with him. But even then, she seems to have trouble dealing with him, and I am assuming, seeks our aid.
This fog, it enshrouds, entangles, suffocates. If only I could learn how it was created. But my powers wane. I have barely the strength to call out to you. All I know for certain is that somewhere in this forest lies an old house, and it echoes with the remnants of a strange power. The Stag Lord and his druid were there. The fog hides this place from me, but I can point you to the bandits' camp near the Thornford. Make them tell you where this place is. Go there and listen to the echo, catch the whispers, search for anything that can tell you how the fog was created. Once the fog clears, nature will breathe again, and you will be able to easily find your way to the fortress of our mutual enemy.
Yeah, I guess as I figured, we have a mutual enemy to deal with here. Alright, I understand. Very well then. I will try and help you by finding this, where these bandits are going. Bandit camp near Thornford. And, hopefully we're going to be able to catch these guys and deal with them accordingly. Alright, I understand. Very well.
I don't believe in fate, stranger. But our meeting seems more than a coincidence.
And then the nymph's whisper fades as she disappears. Interesting, so we've been approached by a guardian of the forest, and she wants us to help to also deal with the Stag Lord and his banditry and the fog that emanates from whatever influence that he holds over it and his druid under his iron fist. Okay, now it seems that we've rested up a little bit. I think that this chest is here so that way you can stash things for later if you want to go ahead and save some things, which I guess we can do that for some of the stuff we have. We probably could have put our rations in here for later. I don't think that we'll need the rations. I think we'll just get rid of some of these cooking supplies because I don't think we'll need them for now. We can forage for rations and then or we can forage for food and then we can cook the food that we forage for. But later on you will find recipes where you can cook this food, and you can get special bonuses from cooking certain recipes, which is kind of nice. Obviously you can look it up online to find out what recipes do what and where to find the recipe books at. I don't think there's anything else. Everything else we can either sell or keep because we might need them. Vanish could be useful. Remove blindness could be useful. All of these could be useful in some way for big fights of some kind. Could use that on a Miri in a big fight. Yeah, I don't think that we need to hold on to any of this. Or any of the things that we didn't already put in there with all the cooking ingredients. Alright, so I think this is a decent stopping point, and kind of need a chance for my my throat and my sinuses to clear up a bit here. My nose has been kind of stuffy, so we'll go ahead and put a stop to it here, and then when we come back, we'll talk to these people after getting a good night's rest, being visited by the guardian of the forest, the guardian of the bloom, as it were, and look forward to seeing everyone next time, and we'll see where the adventure takes us in the next episode. Take care, everybody, and hope you have a great day.